Animated movies are getting more and more popular with the way cinema is going, with only two things that seem to be successful: superhero movies and animated movies. Animated movies are obviously a wonderful medium to show your movies because they can actually cater to the whole family of different ages. But these days, animated movies really stepped up with their overall popularity in breaking boundaries when it comes to their movies. And let's be honest, given how my channel is all about animated movies, I am obviously incredibly happy for this. But recently, I watched a movie I haven't watched in years. A movie from 2006 called Over the Hedge. I still have this film on DVD, and it really reminded me of the great time that was the 2000s. The 2000s really was the hype of comedy movies, and the animated world was no different. These silly comedies like Shark Tale, Madagascar, The Bee Movie. I realized DreamWorks kind of dominated this very small niche of animated comedies. And for me, Over the Hedge might be one of the best because it kind of sits right in the middle of being a silly comedy, but with enough heart to stop it from being just another silly kids movie. But these days, this film is kind of forgotten, and so I really want to talk about Over the Hedge and what makes this film stand out above the rest. Ever since Shrek, the idea of celebrity casting in animated movies took off on a massive scale. The idea of putting a celebrity in your movie to promote it was like hitting a gold mine. And while today it's probably used as more of a cash-grabbing kind of way to market your movie, Over the Hedge very much does follow this trend. But by God, what a cast! Every single character is played by a large, well-known celebrity. Bruce Willis, Gary Shandling, Steve Carell, Wanda Sykes, William Shatner, Allison Janney! And with a budget of only $80 million, which does sound like a lot, during the same year Casino Royale came out and it had a budget of $100 million, flushed away $149 million, Cars 2, $120 million. How did they pay the cast? In food? Did the director just have dirt on them or something?
Blackmail! Thank you, Cleveland.
So not only was the cast just massive, but they all do a brilliant job as their roles. Steve Carell as Hammy is giving us a classic Steve Carell performance, and it is just funny for all ages with his manic energy. William Shatner once again being very Shatner, and also a great performance from Bruce Willis as RJ. He gives us an incredible charismatic performance. Bruce Willis very much solidified himself as an action star because of the Die Hard movies, but seeing him as a smooth-talking raccoon is one of his most unique performances I've ever seen. Over the Hedge does something not a lot of animated movies even today do right, which is have celebrity casting where the celebrities themselves actually give a entertaining performance. These days, celebrities are brought in for their star power and don't give a meaningful performance because they simply aren't good voice actors. Whereas Over the Hedge, every single performer all sound unique, and we get some great performances from them. Over the Hedge's cast is such a bizarre one because I just do not understand A, how they got such an incredible cast, and B, how they got such an incredible performance out of them. The story of Over the Hedge is kind of pretty standard. A smooth-talking raccoon tricks some animals to scrounge for food so he can repay a bear to stop him from killing him. I say pretty standard, that actually sounds pretty dark and rough.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
But it does something not a lot of animated movies do, which is really have your lead be someone with questionable morals. Right from the start, we know that RJ is tricking the group to forage for him, but we know he is morally struggling with this decision. He's the scoundrel but with a heart of gold, and he gives us a classic arc of someone who must eventually face the consequences of his actions, and what he does when it does happen. This does make the story a little bit predictable, but with a great performance from Bruce Willis, you get a very entertaining one. The more and more RJ digs in the whole story, it just keeps going and going, meaning the audience will constantly want to see how this story ends. I think where the best comedy comes from is the story and how it relates to our world, like what Toy Story and a lot of other Pixar movies did. The humor comes from the story's relation to the real world. RJ explaining how our entire world is surrounded by food is some incredibly clever writing, but also relating it back to his own world by circling his whole speech of how we put the food in silver bins just so he and his friends can eat.
Food! 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 Food!
sometimes you've just got to appreciate that's clever writing. And with every encounter they have with the humans, while a lot of it is quite heightened, it's grounded in reality with how humans would react with a squirrel with rabies or a possum playing dead. While the story can be predictable, the humour and the characters make the film entertaining. Even though it's not the craziest plot, it keeps the audience locked in because of what RJ will do by the end of the movie. A lot of comedies in general tend to have very kind of weird and wacky but almost simple storylines, and Over the Hedge kind of has that because there's no plot twist, there's no plot twist villain. You know by the end that RJ is going to go with his morals and do the right thing, but it keeps you engaged and entertained enough by the time you finish at the end, you've enjoyed the movie. If you enjoy this type of content, why not subscribe to the channel? I do videos on all things animated. I see that most of my likes come from people who aren't subscribed, and that feels really weird. So subscribing really gives me the boost to do more videos just like this one. Anyway, back to the video. Like a lot of animated comedies, they lack that depth and emotion that a lot of Pixar movies were doing at the time. Instead, they choose to focus solely on its humor. And while I enjoy a classic comedy, when you have the likes of Pixar who are able to do hilarious movies that will also make you bawl your eyes out, it always made these films feel a little bit stale. While Over the Hedge isn't going to tug at your heartstrings, it has enough depth to make the film last with you. RJ struggles with loneliness, and the film's themes of a found family can be really beautiful at times. It's heightened even more by the film's soundtrack. 5 songs are contributed by Ben Folds, who at the time was really known for giving us pop ballads with strong emotional lyrics. Everybody knows it hurts. His opening song, Family of Me, really sets the tone for the whole movie of RJ's loneliness, and it creates some very emotional songs for the film. Combine this with the theme of found family with RJ's character of being a scoundrel with a heart of gold, and they go hand in hand with how the audience will sympathize more with him as a character. Sure, it doesn't go insanely deep on those themes, but it does enough to make you care about the characters, and not just another animated movie full of fart and poop jokes. Although, there is a burp joke, but I never really know if this is funny or not. I'll let you guys decide.
I can burp my ABCs! Hammy!
Over the Hedge might not be the most amazing animated movie, but considering it's clearly going for laughs more than anything, it has a whole lot of charm and love to stop it from being just another simple kids movie. The film made $339.8 million on its $80 million budget, which is crazy as clearly most of the budget went to its cast, because some of the animation by today is, well, it's not great.
Let go of me!
Ma'am.
I can't be arrested!
Excuse
I'm
me.
president of the Homeowners Association!
Some of those humans look absolutely horrifying by today's standards, but it's a whole lot of fun, and I can safely say that films like this aren't sadly made much anymore. Animation tends to be an incredible experience with brilliant themes and beautiful animation. Or the Smurfs movie.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
I refuse to see that movie. I mean, it's got James Corden in it. There's no way in hell I'm seeing it. But anyway, back to Over the Hedge. After all that, it is going to get my professional rating of 7 out of 10. And my personal rating of 7 out of 10 as well. Over the Hedge isn't the most incredible movie, but it definitely holds a very fun, special place in my heart as being one of the best DreamWorks comedies that they have ever given us. And I miss those old comedies where they just gave us great characters, great laughs, and wonderful jokes. So thank you for joining me in this video. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about Over the Hedge and what's your favorite of those comedy animated movies, and let me know if you want me to talk about them in a video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give this video a like, and subscribing is the best way to keep an eye out for my weekly videos. If you want a little bit more, you can catch me over on TikTok and Instagram. Links are in the description and on screen. And you know what else is on the screen? One of my next videos, and YouTube says you will like it, so clicking on that really helps me out. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.
I'm a crazy rabbit squirrel. I want my